Thank you. Hey y'all, I'm the Southern Ma'am, but all my friends call me Tasoma. In Minecraft, we can obtain iron in many ways. Of course, we can go mining, or we may even find some in a random chest as we explore. However, some players prey on the terror of villagers to spawn in iron golem saviors and then sacrifice them to the flames for a few iron ingots. However, I found another way to obtain iron without mining and still preserving our dear iron golem friends. I admit the rates are terrible, but that's the price of friendship. Let's create an ethical, almost automatic iron farm that uses villager trading. Welcome to the completely ethical and completely manual version of an iron farm. First step, chop down bamboo. Then craft that bamboo into sticks. Trade those sticks with a fletcher to get emeralds. Use your emeralds with an armorer to purchase chainmail. Go back to chopping bamboo. Craft that bamboo into blocks and then into planks. And use it as fuel in a furnace to smelt the chainmail into iron nuggets. Finally, craft your nuggets into ingots, and eventually your ingots into blocks. Iron acquired. Iron golem approved. Now, that process is a lot of manual work. However, we can automate most of it, all except the trading. So let's build a mostly automatic, ethical iron farm. At first, it looks just like it could be another house in a Minecraft vanilla village, even if it is a little on the larger side. However, contained within these walls, both above and below ground in the basement, are all the components of our ethical iron farm. On the surface, the process is very simple. First, we pick up sticks for trading with our fletchers. Grab a couple emeralds and use those to trade with our armorer. Place those iron items in this chest for smelting and pick up the completed iron blocks right by the door. Of course, the process is a little more complicated, as you can see by all the redstone down in the depths of the basement. So let's go through the process one step at a time. Overall, our build is 25 blocks tall. There are 14 levels below ground, 1 ground level, and 10 blocks above ground. Now, you could build this entire thing above ground like a skyscraper or a tower, but we're going to start by digging a hole. Our farm will fit inside of a single chunk, so mark out a 16 by 16 square and then dig 14 blocks deep. You'll also want to put access ladders in the front and back of the build. The lowest level will be the bamboo farm, so we've laid in a floor and then we're going to need a little bit of redstone. We need to make a bubble column in each corner to bring the bamboo up to the next level. So, a soul sand surrounded by glass with a dropper, a hopper that leads into that dropper with a chest above it, and then a little redstone circuit here. Comparator, repeater, 4 redstone dust. Now, we're going to need to put a little bit more above this to finish the circuit, but I'm just showing one level at a time so that you can build this if you're unfamiliar. Then we just mirror the same system on the other side. Our second level will have hoppers to collect that bamboo once it's harvested. And of course, we'll complete those redstone circuits around the bubble columns. There are 8 columns of 11 hoppers, as well as 1 extra hopper on each of the 4 center columns. This is where we'll grow bamboo, so we have space for a total of 92 plants. Then we need a few extra hoppers to connect them and lead all the bamboo to one of the 2 chests. Now, we'll get into the math later, but we actually need very little bamboo for fuel, which is where this bubble column is going. The majority needs to go to the other one for sticks. Therefore, only these 6 hoppers lead this direction. All of the rest are going to lead to that chest over there. So if we open this up here, you'll see that these hoppers are pointing this way to that chest, and all the rest are going to point this way and then into these lines. So we can connect those back this way, and all of these are leading that way. These are leading up to this center line, and these to here. Everything is leading this way to get to this bubble column. I'm going to break a few of these hoppers so you can see what's going on with this redstone circuit. We made this one on the lower level, and all we need on this level is to leave this solid block next to the dropper and add 1 redstone dust on top. When bamboo is harvested, it will travel through the hopper line to this chest, go into the hopper below, and therefore into the dropper, and that redstone circuit will activate the dropper to spit the item out into the bubble column. I highly recommend leaving this dry until the very last minute so that you don't have to worry about accidentally spilling water into your redstone. On level 3, we're going to cover the columns with mud and then the rest of the hoppers and floor with your choice of blocks. Remember that mud is a tiny bit lower than a full block. Therefore, when the bamboo is harvested, it will fall through to the hoppers below for collection. You can also cover in your bubble column here with glass around it. Now, I like to use glass. You could use a solid block if you want, but I like to watch the bubbles. On the next level, we're going to plant bamboo and add in some light sources. I've used bamboo buttons to represent bamboo at this point, so it doesn't grow in our way as we build. I also added light sources to both sides of the bamboo. So 1 block, light source, skip 2, light source, all the way down, and then that 1 extra block on the end there. Now, part of this design is for symmetry. I like when everything looks nice and symmetrical. However, the other reason is for light levels. We want to make sure that the bamboo has the best chance of growing, especially with the low rates we're going to have with this farm. Bamboo grows at light level 9. So when our lid is on here and this build is finished, this amount of light should make it possible to have at least a light level 9 throughout the entire farm. You can use any light source that emits a light level 15. I chose copper bulbs, but you could use lanterns, glowstone, frog lights, even jack-o'-lanterns. And our bubble column, of course, we just continue to keep enclosing it in glass so that it will continue to get taller. On level 5, we need to add pistons next to each bamboo plant. That way, as it grows, the piston can break and harvest the plants. So on this level, we're just putting pistons along each bamboo column and keeping that bubble column surrounded as we go. On level 6, we're going to install the observers to monitor the bamboo growth. We'll put a pair of observers at the end of each column except the bubble elevator columns. Now, some bamboo farms have an observer with every piston, but to me, that's a little noisy and a little expensive, and so I've gone with a little simpler design. We've also put solid blocks above the pistons, but of course left the growing space open for the bamboo. You might notice that here in front of the ladder, we've left these areas clear and have not filled them in. That way, we'll be able to walk along this track even after our farm is finished in order to get down there for any maintenance. Now it's time to splatter in some redstone dust. We've put a redstone dust on top of each of the solid blocks above the pistons, as well as circling it back behind the observers. That will connect everything up to power our pistons when the observers are triggered. Then we placed a layer of glass above the bamboo, as well as continuing around our bubble columns. Now, before you put the redstone dust on, you could raise this a few extra levels in order to give the bamboo more height to grow before harvesting. However, I chose to keep it fairly compact because of the depth already of this build. Those 7 layers were the entire bamboo farm. So for layer 8, I've covered it up with a flat surface so that we can begin the next part of our project. Our 2 bubble columns are going to bring the bamboo up to this layer for 2 distinct purposes. The majority of the bamboo will come up this column and be auto-crafted into sticks. whereas this smaller amount of bamboo will be turned into fuel for smelting our iron. Both of these will create products that need to be transported up to the surface, so of course we need to make some new bubble columns, one in each corner. Here is an overview of the completed redstone for this level. Now, instead of going layer by layer, we're going to go project by project and explain how to put in each of these systems. Let's start with the bubble columns. Since we've already made those before, we're just going to make 2 identical mirrored bubble columns here in the front of the build. 2 hoppers will lead into a dropper facing the soul sand, and then the redstone circuit of a comparator, repeater, and redstone dust will power the dropper to spit those items out into the bubble column. And then we've just repeated the process on the other side. Next, we're going to make another mirrored system across the build, this time using those bubble columns bringing bamboo up from the lower levels. Start by making a platform 4 by 4 in the corner, 2 blocks above the surface. Then place an Autocrafter or crafter, a hopper leading into it, a chest on top of that, and a hopper leading into your chest. The bubble column is going to go up to the level right above the hopper, so water needs to go up to that level and then it will flow into the hopper, bringing the items into the chest. On the other side, place an Autocrafter here and another one in the very corner. We'll connect these 2 together with a solid block on top and some redstone dust on each top level. Finally, 2 comparators, one pointing out of this crafter and one pointing out of this crafter. We're just going to mirror this system onto the other side. So 4 by 4 platform, 2 tall, crafter, hopper, chest, hopper, 2 extra crafters, and then 2 comparators. Redstone dust over the top to finish it off. Let's finish setting up the crafting system here on our left, which is going to make sticks. There's just a tiny bit of construction left to finish this system. First, we need a chest in front of that Autocrafter, and then just a simple hopper chain leading into our dropper. Now we just have to set up the crafters themselves. Bamboo will flow into this chest and then into this crafter. We want to make sticks, which are 2 bamboo to make 1 stick. So we need to click all of these other spaces so that we will only get bamboo in these 2 recipe spots. Then we fill in all of the boxes on both of the other crafters. That will give us the correct signal comparison to only craft when both of those spots are filled with bamboo. Our sticks will then flow through the hopper line, out the dropper, and up to the top level in our bubble elevator. The system on the right is a little more complex, so we'll build it in stages. First, we're going to take our bamboo from our bubble column and use it to make fuel. From our original design, we've added 1 crafter pointing upward into this double chest, and the double chest over a hopper line pointed into the back of a furnace. As bamboo comes up the bubble column, into the hopper, into the chest, down through the next hopper, and into our first crafter, it will begin filling all of the spaces. We're going to leave them all open so that 9 bamboo can turn into 1 bamboo block. The crafter will shoot that into this other crafter where we have blocked everything off except for 1. 1 bamboo block will turn into 2 bamboo planks, and the crafter will shoot that upward into the double chest. Because of this hopper, those bamboo planks will fall into the hopper line and into the back of the furnace where they will enter here as our fuel source. Again, we will leave these crafters with all spaces filled. Now that we have our fuel sorted out, we need our items to smelt. This hopper will connect to a chest with our armorer villagers, where we can trade for chainmail and iron gear, drop it into the chest. The items will flow through the hopper line into another chest with a hopper into the top of our furnace, and those items will then go into the top here for smelting. No matter whether our input is chainmail or iron, helmets or boots or chest plates or leggings, it will all smelt down into 1 iron nugget each. We could just send those iron nuggets straight to the surface for our collection. However, we're going to finish this system by auto-crafting them into ingots and then into blocks. We will place 2 hoppers leading below our furnace and into our first crafter. All of these slots will be left empty so that it will fill with 9 nuggets, which will craft into 1 iron ingot. We will use the same system that we've already built a couple times. Our crafter is connected by a comparator to another crafter with all the boxes filled, a block on top with redstone dust on each, and then a comparator pointing into that with a crafter again with all blocks filled. Our iron ingot will flow through this hopper and into our next crafter. But this is where it becomes a little complicated. We would like for 9 iron ingots to become 1 iron block. However, there are recipes that work and craft something before it gets to that point. For example, 1 iron ingot will turn right back into 9 nuggets, or 2 would become a pressure plate. We need to ensure that this recipe will not craft anything until there are full 9 blocks. This time we'll use a lectern to control our recipe. First, we'll do the same setup as before. Next to our crafter, there'll be a comparator with another crafter that has all the spaces blocked off, redstone dust all along the top. This time, on the other side of our second comparator, we'll have a lectern with a book, and the book will have 15 pages turned to page 9. This means that the crafter will not craft until there are 9 items in the spots. So we can put in other recipes, but it will not automatically craft until we get the 9th one in. And then as you can see, it crafts the iron block. Our crafter will spit out the iron blocks into our hopper chain, into our dropper, and finally into our bubble elevator to go to the surface. Now that we've finished the lower levels, it's time to head above ground. I built a floor to cover the whole surface while leaving holes for both of our bubble elevators going up and our hopper line going down. I also put trapdoors over the ladders so we would still have access in the future. Once the flooring was laid, it was time to finish building both bubble elevators. As you can see, the water flows up 3 blocks over into the hopper and deposits our items into this chest for pickup. You could make this higher or lower, but this felt like the best height for me. Then I just duplicated it on the other side and put signs showing that this is where we pick up iron blocks and this is where we pick up sticks. Above our hopper line, I placed another hopper with a chest so that we could drop off our iron items for smelting. Now, this room is even, so there's an even center line here, so I felt like I needed some symmetry, and I added another chest where I could just store extra emeralds, if there were any, for future trades. Our interior still needed a little more structure, as well as the job blocks for the villagers. I added a few walls just to cover up some of the mechanisms behind and make it look a little cleaner in here. Then I added 6 fletching tables on the left for our fletchers, and 6 blast furnaces on the right for our armorers. Once we put in the villagers and begin trading, this will be a completely functional iron farm. However, we don't want to leave it like this. We've built it inside out, but now we can enclose it in our own design and make this build uniquely our own. I originally built an exterior that I thought mimicked vanilla Minecraft, using the oak planks, the white terracotta, and the cobblestone as decor. Of course, who says you have to build in vanilla village Minecraft style? Maybe you want your own starter castle. Or a cute duplex where 2 friends could live side by side. Or maybe even a fantasy cottage shop. No matter how you dress up the exterior, the interior can contain that ethical iron farm you never knew you needed. Now, you've probably already guessed that the rates for this farm are going to be abysmal. However, let's do my favorite kind of math, Minecraft math, and actually calculate our iron production rate. Our source of emeralds in this farm is the Fletcher stick trade at 32 sticks for 1 emerald. We can craft 2 bamboo into 1 stick, which means that a stack of 64 bamboo can obtain 1 emerald. Armor trades can vary. However, the chainmail helmet and boots are guaranteed to trade for 1 emerald each. No matter whether we smelt chainmail or iron, helmet, boots, leggings, or chestplate, it will always smelt into 1 iron nugget. Bamboo is also the source of fuel in our farm. 9 bamboo can be crafted into 1 bamboo block, which can be crafted into 2 bamboo planks. On Java, this is the most efficient way to use bamboo for fuel, as 2 bamboo planks will smelt 3 items. Therefore, 27 bamboo will make 3 bamboo blocks, which makes 6 planks, which can smelt 9 iron items to get our 9 nuggets. In order to get 9 nuggets, we'll need to use 9 emeralds to purchase 9 chainmail or iron items. To get those 9 emeralds from our Fletchers, we'll need 288 sticks or 576 bamboo. Those bamboo planks can be used to smelt our iron items into nuggets and then craft them into a single iron ingot. So, how much bamboo do we actually need? To craft 1 iron ingot, we will need 603 bamboo. And if we want an iron block, we'll have to multiply that by 9 for a total of 5,427 bamboo. Bamboo grows approximately once every 4,096 game ticks. There are 24,000 game ticks in a day, so that's between 5 and 6 bamboo growth per plant per day. In order to get that 1 ingot production per day, we'll need about 103 plants. You'll remember that our farm has 92 plants, so we're pretty close depending on our luck with the random tick rate. Fletchers have 16 stick trades in stock, and they restock twice a day, so you could get 48 stick trades per Fletcher per day. With 2 Fletchers, you could make 96 emeralds. Armorers have 12 boots or helmet trades in stock. Depending on your luck with rolling villagers, if you had 1 armorer with one of those trades and 1 with both, and they restocked twice, you could get 108 chainmail items from 2 armorers per day. Overall, with 92 plants and a little luck, 2 Fletchers and 2 armorers, the production rate for this farm is 1 iron ingot per day, or 1 iron block every 9 to 10 days. With this kind of farm, like many of them, the best way to increase your yield is to increase the size of your farm. Instead of having just 2 Fletchers and 2 armorers, I have 6 of each. That way, I can do my trading for my 1 daily iron ingot all at once without having to wait for them to restock. The more villagers, the better, I suppose. You could easily expand the bamboo farm to increase stick production or create another source of emeralds, like a pumpkin melon farm. An ender pearl stasis chamber would keep the bamboo farm and the smelting running even when you're away. Well, what did you think? I hope this video inspires you to build your own farm and maybe be kind to an iron golem in the process. Good Lord willing and the sun still shines, I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you kindly for watching and bless your heart.